Hi friends, how are you doing? Today is Sunday, March 4th, 2021, and it is Pi Day in the United States because we say the month and then the day, so 3.14, and you get pie. Some people celebrate by eating pie. I was going to stitch a piece that had pie. I didn't, but I thought about it. So if you've ever wondered where Pi Day comes from, that is it. And of course, everywhere is the Ides of March tomorrow. If you don't know where the Ides of March or what the Ides of March refers to, it's when Julius Caesar was assassinated in 44 BC. And William Shakespeare has written the most famous quote, Et tu, Brute. And so if you've read Julius Caesar, you'll know Mark Antony and the group killed Julius Caesar. And so I have a meme that I'll try to put right here. It's just something a little cute that makes me laugh. On Wednesday, so less than a week ago, it's raining now outside and it's Sunday, which I mentioned, but less than a week ago in San Jose, California, we had 2 inches of hail. The last time it snowed in my area, and I grew up in San Jose, so it's always been my area. The last time it snowed was in the 70s. I remember getting to go out and play in it, but this put 2 inches of hail on the roads. And we like to speed in California, and I was doing 20 because I was fishtailing. The people that didn't slow down, they were in head-on accidents. And as I was driving home, I saw several. But I was just taking my time, and I was only a couple miles from home, and there was no need to rush because I knew that it would cause an accident. So I'm not sure why other people didn't slow down. I also received my first vaccine at the end of February, and I was scheduled for Tuesday to go get the shot. I scheduled it through the county, my first and second, and the county canceled the second shot and made me go through my healthcare provider. And actually, I'm getting it a day earlier, which doesn't matter to me. I did have really bad joint pain and some pain in my arm. There was redness and swelling. I was achy. I don't know if it was the first shot. It's possible. So I don't know what to expect with the second one. But when I do a new update, hey, I'll include that if there was anything memorable. But I would still rather get the vaccine than be without it. On Sunday, so a week from today, I go in and I get my infusion. So that's cutting it kind of close between the vaccine and the infusion, but I will be fine. We're all fine, right? We all should get the vaccine just to prepare us to be a little safer. My school district was thinking about bringing back in-person school as every teacher had to spend an hour and a half with a small group of students. Well, it would have been mandatory for everyone under 60 and that isn't immunosuppressed. And so I didn't plan on going back. And I've talked to my students, but it gives them time to go to math or science or history, another topic, maybe foreign language that they could improve on. And I still offer tutoring 3 days a week through Zoom. So they have the ability to get the information, even if it's one-on-one with me on the computer. So I'm trying to get them to take advantage of that. And some students appreciate it and are able to show up, whereas the students that really need the help, those students aren't coming. I wish there was a Band-Aid. I wish I could hug them and make everything better, but we've been in it for the long haul. And last year, March 13th, which was a Friday, was our last day of school. And myself included, we all expected to be back in a couple weeks. I think living in the United States, many of us feel, myself included, that we're protected from horrible things that happen in other countries. But this, I think, makes me and makes others realize that we're not immune to what's happening. I've got a lot of stitching done in the last month, and my hope is that I'm going to plan to put a picture here. And I've learned how to do side by side. And the reason I want to do it here or side by side is that way you'll be able to see the comparison longer. I know I typically like to see them side by side longer. Someone will put it up for a moment and then put the other one up. So I'll see if I can do them both. My first work that I finished, I'm part of WIPGO, and this was one of my challenges that I created for myself on the WIPGO, and the number was called in February. And so these are the Harry Potter book covers, and it's by Fox and Teacup Designs. And that's where I'm at. I love how it's coming out. I am finally using Pattern Keeper. I held out for quite a while, not because I didn't want to use it, but because I use a Mac and I wanted to get a tablet, but I didn't need a iPad and a tablet. But over Christmas, November, the Black Friday sales, I actually did get a good deal on a Samsung. So now I see the benefit. And one of the benefits I've been using it with Autumn Marigold by Carolyn Manning. This is a Stitch Manning 911 Sal. And I haven't been happy with it. It hasn't been my favorite. But I was stitching. Actually, I'm not stitching in hand anymore, and I put it in a hoop, and I'm using Pattern Keeper, and I'm really happy. Oops. See, I struggle, I do, but I'm really happy with the way this is coming out. There we go. Now, I picked this fabric deliberately because I didn't want to do all the green lines in between. And looking at it, I don't really think I need to fill them in with this green, at least seeing it in person. I like this pattern and stitch. This is the first time I've sat down and I said, yes, I like that. That pattern was for March with WIPGO. And I felt I needed a new start. And this one, I've really wanted to stitch it since I saw Janet Jabber stitching it. And then Amy, Creativity by Gidge, I saw her, and she finished the box of stars, and that I knew I had to start it sooner rather than later. And that is One Nation by Bygone Stitches. And there are 50 stars and all 50 states. The shadows on the paper. It's not my lighting. And so I took a week in, well, last week. And I got that box. Now all I need to do is put in the blue lines and the 50 stars. You can see that I got a couple lines started, the white and the red. The way I stitch when I'm doing a lot of lines is I do half stitches. And that way, if I make a mistake in the line work, I can go back and it's easier to frog instead of just trying to match it up and doing the full stitch. Once I know it matches up, then I go back and I finish the stitch. Also, how do I know? I know where I'm at because every 10th stitch in a line, I do a full cross. So every full cross is 10 stitches, and that's really helpful with counting as well. This is in my Pam bag, and I made this for Pam of Just Keep Stitching, and I like to name the bags for the person I give them to. The last stitch that I have for Whipco is another favorite, Joyful Teddy. Well, there we go. I won this from Dina, Half Stitch Cross Stitch. I have made it my 24 hours of cross stitch piece. And for Whipco, this Whipco weekend, my goal was to get it in a hoop and to start stitching or filling in the red. And all I had to do, and I did it today, is I filled in all the red. I love this so much. Now, I do have a lot of white stitching around the collar and the cuffs, and I do have a secret for stitching to make your white and light color stitches come out. And I did mention it briefly in my last video, but on the bottom of the stitch, I do the 2 stitches. And then I go back with the single thread for the top stitch. And with that single thread, I do this stitch twice. And they lay flat and perfect side by side. It is extra work, but I so just like the way my white stitches lay and my light stitches. So for me, the extra stitch is worth it. And I do know some people like using the corkscrew. I don't mind, but I think for me, this works better. And you might want to try it. It might surprise you. I have a finish, and I'm so excited. I've loved the colors in this pattern since I found it. It is Poison Apples by Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts. The colors are superb. There's nothing I like better than these colors. It was a quick stitch. I want to say 4 days. And they weren't full days either. But I had it right the first time. Okay. Poison apples. Isn't that, I love it. Go in a little closer. So what I'm going to do is pass the stash. All right. So if you would like a chance to win poison apples, what I would like you to do in the comments is vote on which pattern I should start next for my dark 13 stitching. I love both of them, but I'm not sure which, and I will stitch both of them. I'm just not sure which one I'm going to stitch first. So Trick or Treat by Imaginating. I love the hats. I have a really pale, like creamsicle orange fabric from Brandy at Bee Stitch Me. I could use that. I also have some purples. I have so many good colors for this. And it's kitted up. So I'm ready to go with that for the next Dark 13 stitches, which will be in April. And so if you could vote on that one, or Kit and Bixby, When Black Cats Prowl. When black cats prowl and pumpkins gleam, may luck be yours on Halloween. This has some DMC, but it also has so much Krynic. I'm going to stitch it. I haven't stitched something with letters, such as this, a saying. So that would be new for me. But like I said, I'm going to stitch both of them. But if you want to be in the drawing for the poison apples, just tell me which one you like, the hats or Kitten Bixby with the saying. They're both great. They're different, but they're both great. Spiders. Eek. I don't like spiders, but snakes don't bother me, surprisingly enough. So I wanted to share a few freebies with you, and I'm also going to do these side by side. So if I move over here, I can split the screen and you'll be able to see the picture here. I've been looking at Artecy, and they have a Facebook page. I would recommend going to the Artecy Facebook group and joining. Even if you've never heard of Artecy, they're great patterns, and you can go to artecy.com. Of course, I'll put the information below for anyone that I've mentioned or any website. But Artecy is really generous with the freebies that they give. And it's probably 2 a month. And so some of them are still in the files. I'm not going to show you all of them, but I took ones that I really like, and I'll discuss other ones with you. The first one that I have here is Blue-Eyed Kitty, and I don't like cats, but I love kittens, I love puppies, I love baby animals. And I think, Carolyn, if you're watching, this is one that you would like, Carolyn Zook. So look up. I also think Stephanie would like this. So Stephanie Schaffer, if you're watching, look up. But those blue eyes, are everything. So I really do think I'm going to stitch this one, even though I'm a dog person. Now, this next one I have is Blue Tits and Blossoms. And I know, Robin, you're stitching a bird wall. And this isn't the only bird freebie that Artecy has. So you might want to take a look on their Facebook page and peruse it and see if you can find any. If you can't, this is to everyone, if you can't find any of the ones that I'm showing, I do, on the Facebook group, I do know that they're for sale for $1.95 at Artecy.com. My favorite, and I think the one I'm going to start with, is Christmas Bells. I love everything Christmas. Well, I don't like the consumerism, but I like the spirit. I like the weather. I love the lights and the trees. And most people really are in a really good mood. I wonder how many times I can say really. So I do like stitching Christmas. As you know, I have Joyful Teddy. I have the one I was working on last month, and I can't think of the name of it because I wasn't planning on talking about it. But I think these bells are a great symbol with the greenery. Now, this one here, it reminds me of what Jan Hicks might create. And it's Fractal Feather, and I love it. I like the multiple colors that are involved. This is River Rock, and the greenery is stunning. I can imagine myself sitting on the edge of the creek and listening to the water rolling along the rocks. To me, that's very soothing. And I live a few miles from the foothills, and I go to Alum Rock Park. And when it rains, I love listening to the water moving in the creek down below. There typically isn't water because of the drought. So going after the rain is really nice because I know there'll be mud. That's not so nice. But I also know that I can listen to nature and be at one with nature. Then there is Colourful Rose. And I showed this because of all the petals on there and the different colors. So what else have I seen? I've seen Cinderella's Castle, the real castle in Germany that Cinderella's Castle at Disneyland was, Disney used that as the model. There is a unicorn head with the mane in rainbow colors, but it's just the head. Quite a few birds. There are a couple with people. There was one with the dog and a whole bunch of kittens playing with the dog. There is a Victorian woman silhouette with an umbrella. And if you like the patterns, there are even so many more beautiful patterns on the website. And I'm going to buy one. And it is Enchanted Evening by Philip Straub. And I bought this as a diamond painting. And I loved it. And I created it. And I created it. I put the diamonds on the sheet. And I bought it from China, AliExpress, one of those websites, before I knew. Well, I knew, but before I connected the copyright infringement. And so when I saw this pattern on Artecy, I knew automatically that I was going to buy it. And I love it. It's whimsical, and the bubbles at the top and the mushrooms and the colors. Everything is fabulous. I did read on the website, no, I read it on the Facebook page, and someone said, you'll have to check because I'm just giving hearsay. Someone said there is a sale starting March 15th through the end of April. So most of the sales that I've noticed are 20% off, but I think the prices are very reasonable because they are, most of them are full coverage. And I think if you extrapolate and do the math and divide by days and hours, $10 or less for a chart isn't astronomical. So that's Enchanted Evening, and I don't know when I'll start it, but if you're interested in doing a sal, I would love to have you join me for Enchanted Evening. And that's by Philip Straub, and you can find it on the Artecy.com website. I'll link it below, of course. There are so many other patterns that I love and adore, but I didn't want to go through too many of them. I may show more next month. It just depends on what comes up. So I've been watching a new FlossTuber. I think he has 8 episodes in. Many of you may know him. His name is Darcy Cameron, and he comes to us from Canada. He does have a potty mouth, and I'm okay with that. He doesn't have Tourette's. He just likes to swear. I didn't necessarily take to him right away, but he's self-deprecating and he's fun, and you never know what he's going to talk about next. He did show in episode 8 a picture with, he and his wife made a fort out of blankets. It was a date night thing. And I swear, her eyes, I was looking into her eyes, and I swear they were begging for help. Help me! Help me! I'm terrible. But Darcy does full coverage pieces, Hades, and he's going to do a stitch along for Sunflower Cottage, Sal. I own it. The other person he's doing it with, have minis. I only buy minis because I don't want to spend my life stitching something when my tastes change. So, although I'm not ready to stitch it today, I will stitch it and use that hashtag as I work on it. There is one last freebie I want to mention and show you. Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery talked about Black Lives Matter movement, and he created I put it right here. He created this fabulous pin keep, and you can see on the banding around it, it says Black Lives Matter. And I think this is a real treasure, and I'm going to be stitching it. I've only heard one other person mention it. I'm absolutely going to put a link down at the bottom, and you'll be able to stitch it as well. It seems, I'm sure people have heard about it, but I'm not sure why I haven't heard many people advertising, I guess, or promoting. Promoting would be the better word. So definitely go to his, I'm going to link you to the video down below because I didn't see it just going in Modern Folk Embroidery freebies. But when I went to that video, that YouTube video where he shared it, there is a link and it's a Google Doc. And so that's how I got the copy. And I don't know if there's another way to get it, but that's what worked for me, and I'm sure it'll work for you as well. My plans, I don't plan on any new starts except for the Halloween start for Dark 13 Stitches. Remember, you're telling me which one you like. The When Black Cats Prowl, or should I start Trick or Treat by Imaginating? And by telling me which one you'd like to see me stitch first, that will enter you into a drawing for my Poison Apple chart. Not the stitching, but the chart. Those colors. And the steam coming up from the pot, I don't know if you can tell, but those are white stitches. I don't think it matters, but everything looks so wonderful. I absolutely love that. My whip go, I'm looking forward to each month what the new numbers will be. And so that's fabulous. It gives me a little bit of excitement. Oh, here's my WhipGo board, by the way. And what I've noticed is when I put in a time period, I'm able to double that. I don't think I'm going to change this year, the times, because I like having that open time. And when that second number is called, because I put most of the works, the whips, on the chart twice. But if I can do 30 hours instead of 15 hours the first time, think of how much more I'll get done the second time if I do the same thing. Of course, I could be involved in another project at that time, and maybe I won't do another 30. Maybe I'll just give it the minimum of 15 hours because I don't count stitches, I count my time. I also use an app. Let's see if the app can come up and if it'll work here. Oop, get my brightness down. There we go. Oh, you can see me reflected in it. So what I do is, this is just a multi-timer, and I put in my charts. For Carolyn Manning, I have 2 hours left. For my third. Harry Potter, I have 2 hours for my second. Marshmallow World, Joyful Teddy, I still have 20 hours. And 20 was my start, but because I'm using this as my 24 hours of cross stitch piece, I thought, well, let's put in the 24. And One Nation, I have a timer there, but I don't know why. I can't remember what I put in. I like this app. It's just called Multi-Timer. I use Android. So my phones are Samsung. My laptop, so my phone and one tablet are Samsung. And then my laptop and a tablet are Mac. Uh, it is what it is. I can use either one equally well. So I will get more of One Nation done. I would love to be able to give that to my dad for Father's Day. I'm being realistic. I probably won't, but be done by then. And I'm also planning to give my mom Joyful Teddy. So I could see that as birthday and Christmas gifts, because my parents and I decided we're not going to buy each other extravagant gifts. We'll give each other stocking stuffers. And so my cross stitch, I can give them that and they'll be okay with that. But then for their birthday, I'll frame it for them. My dad's birthday is on December 3rd. My dad's birthday is on December 23rd. So I can have his framed. And my mom's birthday is on January 4th, and I can have hers framed. And maybe just give it to my dad. I would give it to on his birthday. Mom, I would give hers on Christmas. I also thought I would share a recipe for chicken tacos with you. The reason I'm thinking about this is I went shopping and bought a whole bunch of protein at Costco: chicken, beef, and pork. And I feel grateful that I live in California and there's so many different foods that we can choose from, and they're all authentic. And I know people don't have that option where they live. Not everyone has that option. But I really love this taco recipe. And to me, it's as good as I could get at a taqueria. And it has a kick because you're using adobe sauce and ancho chili. It also calls for chili powder, and it marinates, and then you grill it and you chop it up, put it in a taco. I use corn tortillas, but that's up to you. I do add a little cheese. I do add some avocado, a squeeze of lime. Sometimes I am a little more American by adding lettuce. Try to get a little bit of that in, or you could even make wraps with it. So if you're looking for a good chicken taco recipe, I can't recommend this more than I am right now. I've gone through everything. So this is a very quick floss tube. I'm actually quite surprised. I did have a FlossTube23. I don't know if you watched it. It was a stitch with me, and I stitched the red tree. I didn't do a great job, but I know changes that I want to make for the next one I do. I have a week off in April. I don't know that I will do a floss tube, but I will work on bags because I didn't do a bag for Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge. But I ran out of time. But I will make May and June on that week I have off in April. I have my hotel room in the live-in for StitchCon Group A. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. Let's say arrivederci, adios, via contios, and every FFO begins with a single stitch. So definitely don't be intimidated by your projects and get that first stitch in and see where it goes from there. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for stopping by.